Hi guys, I'm Melanie and today we're going to be working towards crow pose. So there's a few exercises we're going to be doing to make sure that we're warm enough and we're strong enough, and it doesn't matter if you don't get your feet off the ground and find balance today. It's about doing the work building up towards it. So please don't be sad if you can't do this in 10 minutes. It takes a little bit of practice. We're going to start off by warming up our wrists. So ligaments and tendons get less of the blood flow than your muscles, which means they develop at a slower rate. So they're not going to be as strong, which is why we're more prone to injury. So the exercises that we're doing today might seem a little bit strange, but they're going to do us good. So we start off in a tabletop position. Knees are shoulder width apart, hips are stacked over knees, middle fingers face forward, and our hands are shoulder width apart. From here, we're going to do some shoulder shrugs. So all I'm going to do is take my chest down to the floor, keeping my elbows straight and pulling back in again. Note that the inside eye of my elbow is going to face the opposite arm rather than have those elbows facing forward. When I let my elbows hyperextend, the weight rocks onto the outside edge of the hand, so you'll have like a doming underneath the palm of your hand. That means that equal and opposite amounts of force are not going through your hand, they're going through the outsides of your wrists, which is not what we want. So push down. We're going to need that as a skill later when we start to hand balance. So we're shrugging. We're going to do 40. So we go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, that's 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, that's 20. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, that's 30. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, that's 40. So your shoulders should be feeling a bit hot. Now from here we're going to do wrist lifts. So this is pushing down through your knuckles and you're just going to lift your wrist. Okay, your thumb might be free depending on how flexible your fingers are, and that is the action. Now if you make the action from back here, there's less weight. So we're going to try and keep our shoulders stacked. If you are used to hand balancing, maybe even try to get the center of the shoulder over the first knuckle so it's even further forward. And we've got 40 of these. These are going to burn on the inside of your forearm. We go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, that's 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, there's 20. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last set. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you should feel like this part of your forearm is getting an awful lot hotter. So one of the things that stops people getting into crow pose is a lack of flexibility in the hamstrings, because the entry to crow pose is low down and then shifts forward. If you don't have any room in here, it's going to be really tricky. So we're just going to do a little bit of opening up the hamstrings. So we start off with our knees bent, our belly is going to connect with our thighs and our head's going to drop in. From there, all the way to do is practice rocking a little bit forward, taking the weight in the hands maybe, and then pushing back. We've got 10 of these. We rock forward and back, that's 1. Forward and back, that's 2. Forward and back, that's 3. Forward and back, that's 4. Forward and back, that's 5. Forward and back, that's 6. Forward and back, that's 7. Forward and back, that's 8. Forward and back, 9. Forward and back. Stay low, push through the heels. Maybe try and straighten one leg and then bend and the other and bend. Don't worry if you're not this low, it's absolutely fine. We can be doing this exercise up here. One leg straight and then the other Maybe having a bit of a figure of 8 with the hands. Maybe trying a half fold. We know half folds, we've learnt them. So your half fold might be with your hands on your shins. Your half fold might be fingertips to floor. It might be flat hands. It might be belly connecting with thighs and just the chest lifting away, depending on how your hamstrings are feeling. So please make sure you're nice and warm before you do anything else. Now, the action that we're going to be making today to get us confident going forward is a rocking action. So we've been putting it all the way through the warm-up. We're going to be rocking forward and then pushing back. Your fingers in a hand balance do the job that your toes do all the time when you're walking. So they stabilize the balance. And we get used to, with our toes and our ankles, they're constantly readjusting for us, but we don't think about it because they do it naturally. Now your hands are going to have to be a little bit of practice. So as we rock forward, I want you to grip onto the floor, and you can see I've got something here called a camber. So that means that the bottom part of my palm is down, but there's gaps underneath my middle knuckles. That's your grip on the floor, and it's also your brake. So as you go forward with a flat hand, there's nothing to stop you from keeping going. Look how far over my shoulder, how far my shoulder is past my wrist. Okay, so this is dangerous ground because it's not secure. If I dig my fingers in, it shortens everything, which means I'm gonna have to pull back a little bit. So that is your brake. So get used to feeling that. Now from here, we're gonna start feet hip distance. We're gonna bend the knees, and the hands are about 2 hands width in front of the foot. So if you measure it, so you put your hand in front, it's about there, okay? Then from there, you're gonna rock forward, stick your head out like a turtle, grip the floor and push back. This is building our confidence in our own ability to save ourselves. Okay, so a lot of people start their crow pose when they're not ready for it, and they might put a cushion in front of their face, but if you've got a cushion in front of your face, you're basically saying the chances are I'm going to fall. So that's not what we want. We want to have enough confidence in ourselves to know you can push back from this shape. The next one is rocking forward, and then you're going to bend your arms just like you do in a chaturanga. Okay, so a chaturanga is that tricep in press up we know how to do because we've done all of our other videos. So from there we bend and our knees tap our elbows. We roll through the toes and push back again. So knees touch the elbows, roll through, stick the head out, push back again. Spread the fingers, bend the elbows, lean and roll. What we don't want at any point is the butt to come down. If your butt's coming down, your center of gravity is lower, which means that to enable you to get into your arm balance, you're already fighting gravity. So you want gravity on your side. The more you can get your hips to stack over your joints, the easier it's going to be to hold. Okay? So we've done the first one, which is just a push and back. The second one, we rock, bend the elbows. Now we need to really grip the floor, stick your head out like a turtle and push back again. If you bring yourself down to a tabletop, we know how to cat-cow because we've done it before, but just to recap, when we go into a cow, we drop the belly, drag the heart through the gap, inhale and look forward. When we cat, we scoop up, look at the belly button. So this action of pulling everything in is what we're going to use to give height to our crow pose. So as we rock forward, bend the elbows, stick the head out, keep my butt nice and high. When I get to a certain point, when I feel it, I'm going to suck my belly in and round my back. Okay, and I'm going to push through the floor and then back again. A lot of people make the mistake of looking down. Because your head's the heaviest part of your body, you will go wherever your head goes. So you have to make sure that you're trying to keep it as level as possible. You don't necessarily need to look forward and stick it out, but there needs to be a certain amount of reaching forward. So just like when we learn our chaturanga, it doesn't go down, it goes forward, right off your toes as you're coming. So all the way forward and then down. This shape of your elbows is what you're going to need in your crow pose to give your legs something to balance on. Two different types of crow pose. The first is slightly easier. Your knee is going to stack onto your elbow. So this essentially is the shape that you're going to make, all right? And if you want a safe way of practicing that shape, you can do it lying down, okay? So when we do this shape lying down, we bring the knees in. You're going to push your arms up to the ceiling, and then all you're going to do is scoop your belly, round your back, lift your shoulders off the ground, and then tap your knees to your elbows. Okay, so you can either do this as little rocks, or you can push up and hold. You might find that you roll a little bit, that's not a problem, it's because your back's round. So if you can't hold this shape, lying down with no weight on it, the chances are you're not going to manage it on your hands. So maybe let's work towards building enough strength to do it, which is where your chaturangas are going to come in, because the exact shape that you need. Okay, so this is the first version that we're going to do. We are arms out in front, belly's connected with thighs, palms are flat, elbows bend, knees start to tuck in to the elbows. Now from here we roll forward. Notice how I'm using my toes to push my weight forward. Eventually scoop the belly round the back, push down through the floor, still looking forward, not down. And then I'll find that there's no weight in my toes. And I might be able to maybe flip one toe over, flip one toe over. All I'm looking for is that there isn't a lot of weight here. I don't need to be in the full balance to do the work. This is still hard, okay? So that's your first one. Maybe if you feel like you've gone far enough and you are able to take one foot off and then the other, maybe we can think about squeezing the heels towards the butt. What we never ever do is kick into a balance. We always want to lift into a balance so we've got full control over it from the moment it's left the floor. If you kick, you can't judge how much force you're going to be using. The chances are you're just going to go straight head first into the floor, okay? So we're going to rock forward, we're going to bend the elbows, we're going to lean, the knees stack onto the elbow. Now from here I suck my belly in and round my back, close my chest. Maybe push a little bit more off the toes, grip the floor like I'm at it. Now I've got no weight here. Maybe I squeeze my heels towards my butt. And I can chill here. And then we carefully push back through the hands to bring ourselves down. So that's the first variation that we're working towards. The second variation for my guys that are normally in my class and we're working towards handstands, we want to be putting those knees much higher up the arm on your triceps. When we first do this, it's not very comfortable because your arms are not used to having any pressure in the back of them. So do be aware there is a certain amount of body weight going down through your arms that's not going to be comfortable, but it does start to get easier. The more that muscle builds, the harder it gets. The tighter the muscle gets, the less it's bothered about your knee digging into it. So when we do this one, it requires a little bit more flexibility because we're trying to get the knees up into the armpits. So as we rock forward, we're going to be thinking about going up onto our toes a little bit more to get that knee up into the armpit. You might see people doing a crow pose with their butt low and their hands around their knees around the outside. This isn't going to go anywhere and it's not going to help you with any other arm balances. So it's a good job we're doing this one properly. We look forward, we go up onto the toes, and then we have that action of rolling forward. The elbows bend, my knees are very, very high. And then from here I breathe in, belly, shoulders, squeeze, squeeze. So it's a little bit higher, you can see it's a bit higher. That's in case we want to start working on crane, which is where we get to straighten the arms, but we might not need to do that just yet. So, crow pose practicing. Maybe you want to do it with your head near the couch so that you've got a buffer, something to stop you from falling forward, but you'll have to work out how far away from the couch you need to be in order to give yourself room to lean forward into it. Maybe you do want to put a pillow in front of your face. There's a lot more core work involved with this than people first tell you. You think it's an arm balance. Think about your physics, equal and opposite amounts of force. You should be pushing away from the floor as much as possible. So, last little try. Butts in the air, hands are shoulder width. We rock forward, scoop the belly, roll through the toes, round the back, grip the floor, breathe in, transfer the weight, and then squeeze those heels up. If you want to add these in to your flow in our rocket class, which is what we're going to be working on this week, you have the option to get from here to chaturanga. You're going to keep your elbows bent. Your first option is put one foot down, step into that chaturanga, ready to come through. Or, my guys know what's coming next, we jump. So you're going to shoot those legs, give myself a bit more room. You're going to shoot those legs back into your chaturanga. So I've rocked forward, squeeze, lift, grip, feet are gliding off the ground, there's no weight there. Now from here I take a big breath in, and on my exhale I'm going to shoot. So that is your crow pose. Let me know how you get on.